in the light, and I know that faith has brought you home, but I wish that home was here in my arms. 'Cause when we parted in that moment, I saw heaven in your eyes. I can hear the words, the whisper in my aching heart. Life's a journey of a soul, and when we're gone, love lives on. I know you're in a better place with no pain and no fear, and I can see you smile when I'm drowned in my selfish human tears. 'Cause when we parted in that moment, I saw heaven in your eyes. I can hear the words, the whisper in my aching heart. Life's a journey of a soul, and when we're gone, love lives on. You're only just a breath away, in my thoughts, in my prayers. Love lives on. Love lives on. Love lives on.
Welcome to the Now Show. Woo!
All right.
I'm Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I'm the co-host. Dan Bard up there in the upper left. He is the host with the most. We have Awesome Mary in the house. She is our producer. She is the awesome producer, Awesome Mary, and special guest today, Dan, Ryan, Jeff, Neff. Woo! Wow.
You had to get the Jeff in there, didn't you? That's we already have an inside joke, and you just met Mary and Mojo, Dan. So yeah, welcome. Mojo, why don't you go ahead and start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and just, brief intro. We'll go around and introduce co-hosts, and then we're going to pass the mic to Dan, and we want to hear all about what you're doing in the art world, in the collaboration world, and very excited to have you on. So Mojo, over to you.
I am Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I am a creative. I'm a creator. I am created by a creator to create. That's what I like to say. I'm a playful polymath, musician, graphic designer, videographer, photographer, and a lot of talking, blah, 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 a lot of blah, blah, blah. So I love creating with my words. I think words are one of the most powerful things that we have to create with, and oftentimes it's overlooked because it's not considered like fine art or performing art. But what we're doing right here, this is an act of creation. We're creating a conversation that has never been made before.
This is true.
And as we make this wonderful creation together, we're collaborating, which is a huge part of what I believe, that connections, contributions together make collaboration, and that's where we connect, which is really important. And that's what we're doing right here on the Now Show, right here, right now. And I pass it to you, back to you, Dan, the host.
Hey. Oh, now I'm trying all new things. So we are in now week 5 of this, what started as an experiment, and now we're still, like building the scaffolding of this show, which is really exciting. So if you see some weirdness, just live into it, love it, be with us. Yeah, we'll make you smile. I swear you're gonna feel some joy during this show. It's kind of hard not to. So my name is Dan Roeder. I'm a composer, performer, educator, and chief academic officer of the David Z Foundation, where we transform lives through the magic of music. And that what we saw just before the show started was myself and Taichi actually performing in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It was the last day of my first 7-week tour with her, starting in 2013. I toured with her for 2013 to 2015 before I kind of got into the nonprofit biz and became a teacher. So yeah, that's what that was. I just thought, our guest today is from Wisconsin. Gotta,
Wisconsin.
Shout out to Wisconsin. And have you ever been to Manitowoc? Before we pass it to Mary Dan, have you ever been to Manitowoc? Gotta check it out. Yeah.
Oh, cheese.
Beautiful place.
Can you believe that?
Oh, cheese. Cheese.
Gesundheit.
You just said cheese. All right, Mary, are you still with us? You turned the lights out. What happened?
Mary,
do you want to introduce yourself? Mary?
Can you guys see me?
Are you?
Video's black.
Nope.
I'm having trouble this morning. I'm having trouble.
Mary, your lens cap is on. Let's go to Dan, and then Dan, why don't you
me?
introduce yourself? We'll come back to you, Mary. All right, Dan, you're in the hot seat.
Yeah. Well, hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Dan Roeder and I, we know each other from X and from the Spaces environment, and we've hosted Spaces together.
Fantastic.
And just interacted a lot. Yeah. So we have a couple of inside jokes. We did one space where there were 3 of us with some variation of the word Dan as our name.
We can say this. We did call it Only Dan's.
That's why I couldn't get in.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah. So I'm really happy to be here. I do a lot of different things. I like to make art, and I share some of my artwork online, either on X, or I have some print-on-demand products and that sort of thing. For about 13 months, I hosted a weekly space called the Coco Space, which was, Spaces is social audio, and so I would bring on a couple different co-hosts every week. And for me, that was a big learning opportunity. It was a chance to find out, like, what do other people, like, what are they good at, what are they interested in, and how can I, like, kind of develop an agenda for a 2-hour discussion around that. And I really loved that. And then most recently, I learned how to create basically like a social media, what is very much like a social media platform experience on an individual website. And I started a website called Teamwork State. And really the concept is to bring people together to figure out and, take steps in collaborating and working as teams in a digital environment, which is something that we already do. I mean, we're doing it right now. We did it on Spaces, but to me, this is, I'm really enjoying the creative side of making a site like that. But I also believe, I love AI, I love technology. I see how much things are advancing so quickly. And I feel like this human opportunity to connect with each other, build relationships, will be timeless. So that's what I've been working on most recently.
Love it.
Awesome. And then that's a perfect segue into just inviting folks into our listening lounge. I have no idea what the computer is going to do. I'm allegedly sharing my screen, but it's lost in Cyberland. Oh, hello. There it is. See, I told you it's going to be a little goofy, maybe a little goofy, trying new things. So this, if you would like to join us in the listening lounge, that's over on the right. You'll see there's a QR code. You can also just go to chatmosa.com, and then you can join us there, and you'll be able to actually watch the stream. Slide 15 is this very stream that you might be watching right here, right now. It's the live feed from YouTube. And then slide 16 is Dan's website, Teamwork State. And just if you want to tell us a little bit more about the inception of that, and what's the idea? I mean, you gave the broad overview, but what can people expect, and what do you hope it to become? What are you growing?
Sure. Well, what people can expect is a welcoming environment that in some ways feels a lot like a social media platform. So what you can see on the Chatmosa screen is it's a publicly accessible landing page. And then, if you apply to be a member, if you get an invitation to be a member, then you can access the community portal. That's where there is a feed where you can post posts, make comments. There's DMs. It's a lot like a social media experience, but it's the concept here is that it's a lot more focused. There's social media can be a lot of things. Sometimes it can be a lot of drama, and it can be a lot of noise. Anybody who's part of this community is interested in working with other people. But it is, how that takes shape is kind of open to what you as an individual member, what you're looking for. But what you would do is you'd fill out your profile, go into depth, talk about, your interests, your skills, link to your social media profiles. And then, within the community, you'll find resources that help you understand the tools that are available to you. Things like the different collaboration platforms available on the internet. Examples of things that people who are part of the community have done together. And so what I expect this to become over time is a community that just becomes increasingly valuable, with more members, with more examples, with more resources. And I don't expect to be involved in everything that happens among members, but it's kind of think of like an incubator or a resource hub that helps people understand, the contractual side of working together, the resources, how to meet cool people, that sort of thing. So hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that was so great. And I was just kind of poking around and showing folks what to expect. I love actually, and then over to you, Mojo. But I love that you give previews of how it actually looks. Like, I wish more places did that before. It's like, apply for membership, but you don't know what you're getting into. Like, you're just like, this is what you're getting into. That's why I asked you the question. I love it so much. Go ahead, Mojo.
I just want to ask the question that I think many people who are just new to this, they're just hearing it for the first time. Same question I had when Dan invited me to join Chatmosa. I'm like, what's Chatmosa, and why do I need another social media platform? Because I got more social media platforms than I can manage, and many of them do some of the things that you're talking about. But I'm guessing, and I don't even know the answer to this question, so I'm asking you, Dan, what was the impetus for you to create another platform? Because I don't think it's just to duplicate the platforms that are out there. Either there was something missing or something you had in mind that hadn't been done before. So let the audience know, what's the unique value proposition that your platform is?
Sure. A good question. I mean, for one thing, what is valuable is the focus on this specific collaboration and teamwork oriented objective. Another is, I guess there's billions and billions of people on a lot of social media platforms.
Right.
And so that means that you can kind of get lost in the noise of it all.
Sure.
You can, if you post something, you don't know if people will see it, right?
Sure.
There's maybe like a 10 or 20% chance that the people who you're associated with will see it. But if you're, in a smaller community, even if it's not tiny, if it's growing, there's just a greater opportunity that you'll have that exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that this can function as like a resource hub, so it's a very searchable website. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say the thing that really jumped out at me, because I have had a private meeting with you about it. I did the questioning call, and I'm really excited to get started on there. What seems different to me is the starting point, because on a social media platform, typically you're starting with here's my story, here's what I'm doing, here are my highlights, here are my lowlights, whatever the coverage of that social media is, whatever the API, the algorithms, all the different things that make the social media platform make you discoverable. That's a starting point of my story is this. But this is unique. And let me know if I'm getting this right. You are saying, what's our story? That's the starting point. And you're starting with collaboration, because when I first, it's in the name, teamwork state, like what can we do together? What are you missing? What am I missing? What are you missing? What are we missing? What doesn't exist yet? How can we put our resources together to make something bigger than ourselves is the starting point. And so that's just, I wanted to kind of highlight that. So am I right in that thinking? Is that kind of or am I on my own?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you were a co-host and a speaker on a lot of Coco spaces, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that those spaces had that dynamic to them as well.
So yeah, I think that's just you. Like it's just this is very much you. Just in my experience of working with you and co-hosting with you and things like that, you start from that assumption that we can make something better than I can make, like that we can do individually. So I think it's a beautiful thing, because for me, and this is maybe my obsession with low stakes practice right now, it means that I can come to the table not perfect. I can come to the table in progress, in motion, with an idea, with something that's not fully fleshed out, but it's still okay. Like I don't have to show that I've done all these things. I'm showing that I'm curious about making all these things is kind of a different mindset.
Yeah, I want to jump in here too, is that as a marketing professional, I know that the top question of most people is what's in it for me. In fact, that's not just in marketing, that's kind of in life. Most of us are what's called egocentric. Our eyes are in our head. So the world, quite literally, from our perspective, revolves around us. We are the center of our universe just by physically, we are, just by the way we look. But unfortunately, that warps our view that everything does revolve around us, which isn't true if you get a big enough view. So I like to take this acronym WIIFM, what's in it for me, and tack on 2 letters. WIIFM TG, what's in it for me to give? And when I show up,
Easy to remember, Mojo.
What's that?
That's really easy to remember. WIIFM-TG. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, of course it is.
The WIIFM is pretty common. Most people know what's in it for me. That's been going around for years. So I just added the TG, but it flips. It flips my expectation. It flips how I show up, because if I'm showing up for what I'm going to receive, that's a different me than if I show up with my first question, which is what Dan is tapping into. What's in it for me to contribute? What do I have to give to contribute for us, right? So it goes from I to we just by that certain orientation. And so that alone sets apart what you're talking about here for me. I mean, all the other platforms, they have many of the tools you're talking about, but they don't necessarily have that immediate orientation that this is about us, not about me. So I love that.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And
From me to we.
Me to we, yes. From me to we, absolutely. Yeah. It's actually just taking the M and turning it upside down. Which, look at this.
Oh, turning the world upside down, Mojo.
Well, turning it right side up, I would say. Right?
Right side up. There we go.
So M looks like this, right? It's like a 3 down. But it's like a fortress. Me protects me from the outside world. If you flip that over, that's a W for we, and now it's
a lot easier to hold up, isn't it?
It's a cup
when we're working with we.
Now there's a
oh
space.
Wow.
There's space in between right here. This is like a jail, right? Emma's jail. This is like a cup. You can pour stuff in, and there's room for others. So flipping from me to we, I think it's turning the world right side up.
Mhm.
Wow.
Awesome. That's
Well,
awesome.
congratulations, Dan. You've turned the world right side up. I mean, this who knew this is amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing I
Um,
wanted to ask Dan too.
yeah.
So I know that algorithms are not my friend generally in most social medias. Like you said, like you pointed out already, I can post 100 things, and I don't know if anybody ever sees them unless they actually respond. And many people that actually see them don't respond because they're scrolling through so fast. But what I'm hearing, and I want you to clarify, Dan, is there's a very good chance that on Teamwork State, when I join that team and I start to collaborate, I'm not getting lost in the algorithm, hoping that somehow it comes to the surface so that somebody somewhere will see what I'm posting. But we're all sharing the top level surface, so we can all see each other's work all the time. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it let's say if it were to grow significantly and have a lot more people, you can also have tailored spaces for particular projects or groups, so that a smaller number of individuals will always be closely attuned to what they're doing. But yeah, and also you can search by recency, by alphabetical, by most popular, that sort of thing. But it doesn't function the way that major the social media platforms that we all know about that
Right.
function by algorithm work. Something else
Yeah.
I want to mention about it, it's a little different from these big platforms, is it's cool if you have links. In fact,
Yay!
part of it is like, what are you good at? What are you proud of? What skills can you show people that you have? And where do you live on the internet? And it can be more than one place. And put it out
I
there.
love that. That makes me so happy. And that's actually a really good segue into I want to get into kind of the visual art side of you as well and dive down there. We're going to take a little brief commercial sponsor break because this is the first time doing a commercial break, and this is me just like being completely transparent. But I actually really am I have a lot of gratitude for Chatmosa for being the platform that we're kind of using as a time capsule for these conversations. And so I really want to invite people to come over there and check out what they're doing. Just speaking of kind of collaboration and networking and being many places on the internet, this is another gathering point. And so you can see actually within the Chatmosa environment, I can go to Dan's profile on X, and I can actually click on his mug, and then I can just either write him a message or visit his X page. So this actually connects LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and TikTok. Which
Listen to that roll up.
I did it! I'm getting faster and faster. I'm going to start rapping it, guys. I'm going to start rapping it. And this is happening. But see, it goes right to Dan's profile, and you can connect with him here as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just a remarkable. See, I'm sharing X, right? Yeah, so you can just kind of, you can also head back and click on Mary's profile, click on Mojo's profile. I'm logged in through LinkedIn. You can click on my LinkedIn if you want. So that's kind of the magic of Chatmosa. And then our other sponsor, just while I'm showing the Chatmosa, if you go all the way back to the beginning, slide 1 is our icon, our poster for this. This is sponsored by the PEAR community, PEARcoin.xyz. And this show used to be called It's 7 O'Clock Somewhere, because one of the things that really drew me into PEAR was their karaoke on Thursdays from 3 ish to 5 ish. We usually go a little later. PEAR Daylight Time, that's PDT now. And it's a place that it connects the world through singing, and that Dan, you know me well enough that that's kind of my core. So there's the Welcome to the Library song. There we go. So slide 4 in the Chatmosa, PEARcoin.xyz. That's where you can check out what they're up to. And I just want to now focus back to you, Dan. Tell us a little bit about your physical art and like the what kind of style you do, what are you doing in the visual art space? And I have to get back to other view. I got this. I can do this. I believe in myself. Here we go.
Breathe,
All right,
Dan,
Dan, over to you. I got
You
this.
can do it. You can do it.
All right. Thanks for asking, man.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed art. I took a few art classes when I was growing up, and then as an adult, I painted acrylic paintings, super detailed, not always highly realistic, but usually like a touch of something representational, but colorful, layered, lots of little dots and lots of patterning. And more recently, one of the first business model that I understood on the internet was print on demand, where you make T-shirts and you sell them. But in doing that, I learned how to create digital art using Inkscape, for example. But now I'm combining AI generated artwork with, like, I'll take something and then I'll put it into Inkscape or Kill.com or whatever website I want to work with, and so add some texture to it and add my own touches to the work. You can see if you were to go to my X profile, you would see some examples of the more recent art that I'm making. But it does tend to be, I mean, you've seen some of it, Dan, kind of like pattern oriented and texture oriented, bright colors, sort of busy.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm showing it, like, let's see, I'm showing it really small here. I'll feature, this is one of your recent pieces, right? I just went to your X profile through Chatmosa.
Yeah.
And
that one is 100% AI generated. But, like that, what does that mean? It means you think a lot about the prompt that you're writing. You blend images that you've created. You rewrite, you try again, and you keep on with that process until you land on something that represents what you were going for.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we're actually going to do live. Surprise. We do this every day.
Cool.
This is an exciting thing, but you get to be in the driver's seat. So I want to spend a little bit more time on this today with you. Mojo, did you have?
No, I'm excited to hear where we're going to go with this.
Yeah. Because so I guess the first question, like I said, you're going to be in the driver's seat. What should we create? What should we create together?
I want to try a variation of what I've been trying to do. All right.
Okay. Great.
Love it.
Let's experiment.
So the idea is to have a map of the world, and then to have like an artistic representation of these nodes, circles, whatever it might be, across the world, and then the connections and like the interplay. And to me, that's a representation of what we're doing digitally.
Awesome. Okay, so we're using, again, surprise, surprise, our friends at Pixio. I'm going to use a different model than we've been using. I usually use Flux because it's super adaptable, but there's a really good model in Pixio called ImagineCraft that I haven't, I've one of the things that I really like about it is we can actually edit and we can create masks, and there's in painting and all sorts of things we can do right in the model that can help us make more granular decisions. So can you give me that prompt again, Dan? We're going to do this live.
It'll come out different this time. But a map of the world.
Okay.
Let's have it be bright colors. Blue ocean.
And yeah, sorry, keep going. I don't want to interrupt.
And then, and let me, if I can speak just generally and trust you to interpret a little bit. And so then let's have like nodes, kind of nodes on locations around the world, and connections between the nodes. And then like an artistic representation of digital interactions across the globe.
So I just want to state when I get a code, I get it coded by Dodes, and by Dodes, and I have to blow it a lot because by Dodes it gets all stuck.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So what was that last part you said, Dan? The connection
An
between the
artistic, an artistic, symbolic representation of interactions across the world.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Okay, so and let me.
I've already got a song in mind.
Across the world. Yeah. See, we're sparking each other. That's why conversations are art.
You're exactly right.
So one of the things that oh, sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Creative juices
They
are
are flowing. They are flowing. One of the things I've really been incorporating more is using brackets and braces in my prompts to really connect ideas, because one of the things I was going to mention, and that's where I caught myself from interrupting you, Dan, is that we don't need to do complete sentences. So I was just going to kind of tell the audience that we can just think in thoughts, think in little phrases. But one of the powerful tools that we have in prompting and in this whole AI world is being able to group thoughts in braces, brackets, and different layers of systemic choices. So
I wanted to point out
I'll stop talking.
I want to point out too that Dan gave us the words the first time, and then you said, "Okay, I want to type it out. Would you say it again?" And Dan very astutely said, "Well, it's not going to come out the same way the second time, right?" And I just want to pause on that for a second, because this is one of the beauties of AI, is that you can type in the words and then you can type them in different the next time, whatever's on your mind at the moment, and that might not produce what you're looking for, but that doesn't mean you're done. Then you change the words, right? And the words are actually creating worlds just in real time, which is
a world.
It's a visual representation of what we do with our words all the time, because our words create thoughts in the person that hears them, including ourselves, by the way. A lot of people talk about how our thoughts create our words, and that is actually required. If we don't think a word, we can't say it. However, our ears are actually listening to the words we say, and they are changing the shape of our brain. So the words are creating worlds outward, but also inward as well. And as Dan said, I won't say the same thing twice. In fact, if we started the show over, the conversation would not sound identical to the one we've had. It would be similar, but it wouldn't be identical. So every conversation, every time we speak, we're creating something different. And we can, just like we're doing in AI, we can edit our words to change the outcomes of the worlds that we're creating.
And one of the things I can do, so Dan, if it's okay with you, I'm going to download this one that we looked at. And use that as a reference image, because that's another thing that we can do with a lot of these models is you can start with something that's close, and then you can use your words, you can use images, you can use ideas, you can use seeds. That's a whole different thing to kind of fine tune. So I think if it's like dialing in a microscope. So you have the coarse tuning, but then you also have the fine tuning, or it's also like tuning a violin. You have just the pegs, and then you have the fine tuners at the bottom of the bridge. So there's so many different ways to think about AI and using it in the art world. And so I think the more we kind of highlight it being used in a way that is generative, creative, open to this idea of conversation as an art, I think that's going to be really helpful as we learn different ways and use cases. But I guess the thing that I always think about is we have a mutual friend, Cameron McNearney, and I love his dishwasher metaphor. Oh, Cam, yeah. So I gotta highlight that. But he said, a lot of people said, well, using AI for art, that's cheating, and it makes me just go, I wonder if we could use some more thoughts there.
Does that mean that using a paintbrush is cheating? Because that's not really
right.
Organic,
and
right?
So Cam always talks about a dishwasher, and he's like, all right, so let's say that you have Thanksgiving dinner, and you have your family waiting in the dining room still. You cleaned up the dishes, and you gotta clean some things up for dessert, or whatever. So are you going to not use the dishwasher because it's cheating, and then lose all of that time engaging with your family, or are you going to just load the dishwasher and then go talk to your family? So that's kind of an interesting mindset, and I don't know, maybe that's a spicy take, but I don't mind being spicy in this.
I like
realm.
spicy takes. Spicier,
yeah. The spicier the better.
Mary, what, Mary?
I love that example. No, I think that's great. And it's interesting because I have my kids are in their 20s, and for some reason they think that AI is cheating, and I'm like, it's not cheating. And I don't know where they got that from because they're young. But yeah, and I use it all the time. I'm a web designer, web creator.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
Here's where AI is cheating: is when you don't let anybody know it's AI. When you say, "Oh,
Right.
I did this on my own," so whether that's a writing like this, I work at a university, so all the professors are concerned about plagiarism or AI being the writer for the student. Well, if the student doesn't do any of the work other than say, "Hey, write me a paper," well, that actually is cheating because it's the misrepresentation of the source, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. And that comes down to agency. Like once you say something is your work, there has to be, that integrity and honesty behind it, because we have the agency to take things on or not take things on. Like if you put in the time to really craft a prompt, that's like we were saying, conversation. It's a conversation with history, in my opinion, because AI is just an aggregator. It aggregates thoughts, just like it's essentially a souped up search engine, where I like to use it as a sounding board for lyrics for songs. I say generate 25 different ways I can think about meatloaf, whether that is the band or the food, and then I pick one and it sparks something for me. And then it's kind of like, you're having a conversation with recorded history and saying like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that had I not known it, So now I'm using this image. I'm glad you guys were covering the conversation as I was pulling up Dan's image, but now we're coloring this prompt that we came up with. This is really actually kind of Dan's prompt. So we're going to start adding some things, and this is what putting his previous work with what we just did right now. That's what that looks like. So now, for anybody on the panel, what do we want to add? What do we think are some possibilities to add?
Well, what I don't see yet, based on the words that Dan was using, which I think is the key, is that there are interactions between all the different locations on the planet. Locations are actually representing people, of course, because continents actually don't interact with each other. Well, they did, I guess, at one time in history. They broke apart to create what we understand the globe looks like now. So but that's a very slow interaction. But in real time, there's this possibility, especially with the internet now, that we can interact with most of the other humans on the planet in any given moment. And I think that's where Dan was going with that. Is that right, Dan?
Yes, I love it. It's super interesting that we can do that. And I was imagining more symbols and designs and colors to represent, that dynamic. So right on, Mojo.
Yeah, more symbolic, less.
Yeah. So I said symbolic human interaction possible across continents.
Yes.
Okay.
Good words.
Let's see what happens.
That's better than across.
I'm pretty sure I'm AI.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
It could be. How do we know, right?
Yeah. And so
it's really an exercise in effective articulation. Yeah. Wow. So we're getting more in that direction for
really
sure.
Important, Dan. Say that again. It's an exercise in
effective articulation.
Wow.
Effective articulation. That is super smart sounding, Dan.
Yeah. And I got it for 2 words there. So
all right, what are you thinking? I kind of like the direction of this. It's almost like these are little magnifying glasses.
They're also like bubbles, right?
They're bubbles. Yeah.
And sort of sound waves. Look at the waves that are going out from each of the bubbles. So you've got and sound waves is really how we're connecting right now. We're connecting through video, but really we're connecting through our ears. The sound waves out of my mouth into the computer, up to the satellite, down to your device, into your ears. I mean, it's magical when you think about it. 15, 20 years ago, well, at least 25 years ago, this would have been science fiction. And we're just like, hey, I'm just going to open up my laptop and I'm going to talk to Dan and Mary on different parts of the country. And we're going to create a conversation, and then we're going to create artwork together. And my grandparents would have said, what have you been smoking? Right?
Okay, so I feel like I got us a little further away. I don't like this as much, but I'm curious what you guys think.
I like the bubbles and the sound.
The bubbles, yeah. So I just added I tried to be too on the
Okay.
nose, and I said featuring sound waves. I'm going to
On the
take that
nodes.
back off.
You're trying to go on the nodes.
On the nodes. Oh, I'm going to write that though. See what happens on the nodes. I don't know. Like I like playing with AI.
Yeah, playing exactly. Well, that's what I
It's
want to
play.
point out too. Is that oftentimes when we're creating anything, there's this innate sense like, if I don't get it right the first time, I've failed. But I remember studying the Monet water lilies. Water lilies is one of Monet's most famous paintings, and the perception is that he sat down with a blank canvas and he painted water lilies, and it was the most beautiful painting ever of its time, and we all revere it. But if you look into the history of it, he did the water lilies hundreds of times, sometimes pencil sketches, sometimes in color pencils, sometimes in paint. He painted the water lily scene, which is actually was the view from his back door, from his back porch. That was his backyard. He painted it hundreds of times at least. And you see all the different iterations of it. We just see one version of it. But I think that's so important for all of us to remember that whether it's music or dance or art or conversation, the first time out of your mouth, it's not going to be the final coup de grace, right? It's in process. And as we're doing with AI, checking, well, that worked. I like that. Let's go backwards. Let's go forward. Course correct. And then stuff comes up. We're like, oh, I never thought I never would have come up with that on my own because we're doing it together. This is just a great example of how life actually evolves, how we process life.
Yeah. Okay. So I just, in the interest of time, I know we're getting kind of
Yes.
up
8
there.
minutes.
So I want to just see if we can add something. So Mary, is Mary here? Somebody blooped. Did Mary bloop? Okay. Mary, I wanted to just kind of get your input, and we're gonna see if there's something that we can, do around the border that can feature something that you would like to see.
Can we make it bigger? Because it's kind of small.
Right now.
I mean, yeah, I'm in the editing mode. So, but
okay.
yeah, is that more better? Wait, oh gosh, what did I do? What did I do? Okay.
Love how far we've come, but yeah, what do you want to add, Mary?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't know. I think it looks nice.
Okay.
Do you want to do? Yeah.
So I guess here, I just want to kind of see if we can add a little bit more of the I guess, Dan, back to you. I mean, since this is kind of your original mind baby.
So before Dan speaks, one of the things he said earlier was like simple and colors, like bright colors. Right now, it's pretty, true, like it's a map. But I wonder if you can simplify it. In fact, Dan, in the past, we've used the word simple, stupid drawing or stupid, simple drawing.
Stupid, simple.
Right.
Incredibly, ridiculously stupid, simple is something I did once.
Something along those lines. The reason I'm saying that is because we like people get a chance to color, to add their own flair to our drawings. So if we could simplify it and allow people then to color it in with whatever colors they prefer, all the colors of the wind. Right?
Yeah.
Paint with all the colors of the wind.
What are you doing, Dan? Is this another feature?
This is a mask. So I'm basically creating a mask. I'm going to save it. And then we can prompt something within that mask. That's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to do, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the prompt. So it's basically, I put in, I uploaded our where we are right now as a new image. I made that mask, and then I'm going to say, make that area, make it a pencil or ridiculously stupid hyphen simple. I almost wrote the word hyphen. Stupid simple pencil sketch. So now it's just going to take that mask, and when I hit generate, it's going to take the rest of the image and leave it how it was. So it's kind of like that we're focusing in on this world that can be colored.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So we'll see what happens. I'm actually quite excited to see. Are we wait. Oh, I'm not looking at the screen. I was terrified in that moment.
That's the
drum roll.
The pencil.
Not an earthquake. Not an earthquake. It's a drum roll.
Wow, I was really scared.
I am in California. Anything's possible.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Save the mask. I don't know if it's listening right now. We'll see.
I was afraid I was in an earthquake. I was going to send out.
Yeah, it was like
send out the rescue squad. We're at 8:56, and I do have a 3-minute song, so we got to
go ahead and do a song. I'm going to keep messing with this and
right.
you know, try and get a final output. But if you want to play us out with a song, we'll give Dan some final words maybe, and then
after
play us
the song,
out with a song, Mojo.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Yep.
So this song was prompted by our conversation today. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. 'Cause God has shown us by turning stones to bread, so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, oh, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. When you're down and out and there seems no hope at all, if you just believe there's no way we can fall, when will we realize that a change can only come when we stand together as one, as one. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, oh, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice we're making, saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. I said, there's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. It's you and me.
That was great.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Mojo. Okay, so here's where we ended up.
I gotta fly, but thank you, everybody. We'll see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Yeah, we'll wrap up the show. Thank you, Mojo. So here's where we're at right now. I got the mask working. I just had to refresh, and so now I think this is where I'll upload this one to the chat, Mosa. Let me just see if I can make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll download it. Here, let me just do this. Let me just do this live. Why not? Let's do it live. I'm going to download it. I'm going to put it in Chatmosa, and then you feel free to download it from Chatmosa. Use it as an image generation starting piece. And or if you want to just, color it in. It didn't quite go to pencil sketch, but I only had time to make one generation once I realized I had to refresh the browser. So here we go. Share this tab instead. Make sure to check out teamworkstate.com to check out Dan's website and what he's up to. And then slide 17 will be this image that we created together, which is super exciting. I love collaborative work. That's why I'm so thrilled that you have this initiative, Dan. And look what we created in real time. Look at that. There it is. Let's see. I can. Yeah, I was trying to see what it looked like. For some reason, it didn't show up really big in our. Oh, it's actually quite gorgeous. It erased North America.
Right.
That's like it's gone.
That's not a prediction.
Not good. That's not great. Okay, but you guys can fix it. So that's the exciting thing. But thank you so much, Dan. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so we can.
That's beautiful.
I really love doing this collaborative work. And I appreciate you so much, Dan, and all the wonderful things you're bringing to the world. So any final words that you have for the good people? We have 40 watchers right now. And that's an all-time high. Yay.
Fantastic.
Hi, 40 people.
Hello, everyone. This is a really fun conversation. Thank you so much for inviting me and welcoming me, Dan and Mojo and Mary. This was great. I'm honored. I had a really great time. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks for being here. And that's good because I have to get into a meeting. So we'll see you around the X streets. And I'm excited to get started on teamworkstate.com myself. And I love how open it is. Like that's just a highlight in case folks are just tuning in. You can come to, well, please do support Mojo, but also come to our Chatmosa page, and it'll be up until Friday at midnight is usually when I sunset it. And you'll see all the guests from this week that are in the gallery there. I like thinking of it as kind of a gallery walk. That's a teacher thing. Where we get to showcase people's art and showcase people's activities and our thoughts, our thoughts becoming Chrome tabs in many ways. And so please feel free to check that out. You can just go to chatmosa.com and then look for the giant pear. And thanks again to our sponsors, Pearcoin. And we will be back tomorrow with Money Miller from X. And I'm excited for that conversation as well. Yeah, go make a beautiful now, everybody.